Welcome back to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I am Ross Bolen, here with my buddy Barrett Dudley to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast packed with laughs. Barrett, it's Saturday.
Yes, it's
Saturday.
I was holding my headphones like a DJ.
It feels cool that, like, all right, so Barrett and I have this new setup where producer Mike hits the hotline. We didn't, or not the hotline, the theme music. We didn't used to get to listen to our own theme music before the episode started or whatever. So now Barrett and I hold the headphones up to our heads like
DJs
or music producers,
like Zac Efron in that one movie with Emily Ratajkowski
that everybody saw.
We
all watched.
The whole world saw it.
The whole world saw it,
Yeah.
and then it was nominated for every award that year.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that called for real though?
We Are Your Friends is what I believe it was called.
That can't be the
I'm
actual.
pretty sure that's what it was. We Are Your
Man,
Friends.
I just remember seeing the preview and
We Are Your Friends. I think that's like a song that plays in the trailer, maybe.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I hope not.
I actually did not ever see that movie, but
Nobody
I did
did.
watch the trailer.
I did see the trailer
at least a dozen times.
Because it was like
It's a great trailer.
It's like watching a train wreck though, like a sexy train wreck.
I thought the trailer was great actually.
What happened in the trailer, Barrett?
Zac Efron is like an up-and-coming music producer, and then he finally gets like this break with this other producer, who's like a big-time deal. And I think Emily Ratajkowski is that producer's girlfriend, and then like maybe he starts sort of having an affair with her, and so then he's got the career finally, but also he's like he can't have the girl.
Oh man!
And then it all comes tumbling down,
bro.
And his friends are like, "You changed, dude.
Bro, you changed."
And then there's just like some dope ass music drops, just like our theme song just dropped right there.
You know what's just?
That's just
We saw a couple of techno shows.
What a great trailer!
Not techno.
I just told you the whole movie based off of a fantastic trailer. There was no need to see the movie.
No, we accomplished everything we needed to. But we saw a couple of different EDM shows at ACL this year.
Yeah.
And like, when you're at an EDM show and there's some people who are really good at it, some performers, and some you're like, okay. Yeah. We had a couple, okay. And it's tough to go to an EDM show and see a DJ and notice that, okay. And then be like, you know what we could do? Make a fucking movie where Zac Efron is a DJ. If it's not even entertaining to go to a show and watch a DJ do that, why would it be entertaining to watch a movie?
Yeah.
And then I think they probably got to that question and they were like, we need Emily Ratajkowski.
And that movie also came out at the height of like the powers of Avicii and Tiesto and like all those dudes. Like EDM was like the hottest thing on the entire planet.
That's true.
So
That's true.
It was trying to touch the pulse of the culture.
Can I just read the We Are Your Friends synopsis quickly?
Please. Did I get it right?
Basically, young Cole Carter. That's Zac Efron's name.
Hell yeah.
Cole Carter, double C.
Hell yeah.
Dreams of hitting the big time as a Hollywood disc jockey. Spending his days and nights hanging with buddies and working on the one track that will set the world on fire. That's the point where they should have realized this was shit.
Yeah.
Opportunity comes knocking when he meets James Reed, a charismatic DJ who takes the 23-year-old under his wing. Soon, his seemingly clear path to success gets complicated when he starts falling for his mentor's girlfriend, jeopardizing his new friendship and the future he seems destined to fulfill.
I have never read that, and I just nailed it.
What's hilarious is they spent only $2 million making this movie. I bet it was $1 million to Zac and $1 million to Emily.
No way.
And then it did 11.1 in the box office, so they made money.
$2 million was the budget?
That's what it says. What? That can't be right. That cannot.
No, you can't. You can like
Efron
barely make like a student film for $2 million.
Wouldn't Efron cost $2 million?
No, he's not. By the way, I mean, I should probably just like have another. I should probably have a follow-up to my short-lived hyper niche podcast,
Effie's
Effin' Around, which is the only podcast to ever put out that's solely about Zac Efron.
Yeah,
you can still probably find that on the Grand X Labs archives.
I guarantee you can on the internet.
I need to do a follow-up because I don't know what Zac Efron is doing right now, but I think something's up. No, I don't want to say that in like I don't mean that with complete negative connotation.
You mean personal issues wise?
No, I don't. I see. That's what I don't want to say. I think that he is like, he's on that. He's on a 3-year arc of fuck Hollywood. I'm done with this shit.
Oh,
I'm gonna go climb rocks and like make little small budget films about camping with my friends and like, find the true meaning of life. And he's like still got this weird bleach blonde hair. And he's just like, he's looking crunchy as fuck right now. And I don't know. And it's just a weird, I don't know. It's
he's
just
got to
weird.
find himself, dude.
I guess.
You've got to go find the next level of weird as an actor so that you can come. Like, look at McConaughey. You think he just woke up like that one day? No, he went into the forest a whole bunch of times and tried to make indie films with his boys.
Yeah, I don't know. Zac Efron, I'm worried that, he never quite found like the talent core. You know what I mean?
By find or found the talent core, you mean he doesn't possess it. McConaughey is just much better than Zac Efron.
I don't want to. I can't salt my dude like that and just straight up say that he's not a good actor.
Okay, no, it's not that he's not a good actor, but he's not there yet.
He's definitely not there
yet. And to take the next step, maybe it's the wilderness.
It's the wilderness.
So this is. I keep looking at pulling different articles about that movie, and
my point was, I don't think Zac Efron has ever been paid
well.
Like super hot, yeah.
Like A or B lister even, maybe.
No.
Maybe for those Neighbors
movies. The
Neighbors
movies, maybe he got a couple million for those.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, this We Are Your Friends movie, I see one that says $6 million budget. That's the highest.
Okay.
Everything else we're seeing 2.
That's pretty impressive.
And then the headline I'm pulled up right now on Entertainment Online is Zac Efron's We Are Your Friends had one of the worst box office openings in history. Ever. That's hysterical. And that's probably part of the reason that he was like, you know what? I'm done here.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I cannot say this enough. Having a good agent to help you make the decisions about which movies you're going to do as an actor is like almost as important as how good you are at acting.
Yeah. Also just more proof that being a childhood star and then turning that into adult success is just like wildly difficult.
What was his childhood stardom? Just those fucking weird movies about like
High School Musicals.
High School Musicals.
He was a Disney star, basically.
I thought he was already like 18. Was he not?
Nah, he was young.
So that counts for sure then.
Yeah.
He did that one movie. It was like 17 again or some
17
shit.
again. Yeah.
A lot of chicks touched themselves to that movie.
That's maybe his best film.
And me. Maybe a lot of dudes too. I don't know.
17 again is probably my favorite Zac Efron movie.
I think it's a lot of people's favorite Zac Efron movie, which really tells you where he's at.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why he's in the wilderness. This month. On patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. In October, we did our movie club. If you're wondering what Patreon is or how it works, if you want more OCC, we do one episode a week right here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And then we do one episode a week on Patreon that's ad-free and available to the members of the Mollusk Militia and Crustacean Nation. This month in October, we did our movie club on Joker. That's available now.
Joker! I don't know why I want to do that every time somebody says Joker.
It's just something about the word that makes you want to play with it. The Righteous Gemstones Season 1 we covered in its entirety.
We did.
In a separate podcast. We're doing Fleabag Season 2 next week?
By the way, did you happen to note the connection between Righteous Gemstones and El Camino?
Of course I did.
Okay, all right.
That guy's awesome, by the way. And he's just playing the exact same character, but that guy's fucking really good.
Where did he come? He's just out of nowhere.
I don't know, but I guarantee
on my TV screen.
He's going to be that character in a whole bunch of other shit,
I think he probably will be, yeah.
His face makes you want to beat his ass, and you hate him.
And then he also has the perfect voice.
Yes.
It's like you gotta like, I don't know how you get that gravelly ass voice. Maybe he just smokes a pack of Reds a day.
Yeah.
But it's
and he can take it to different levels too. So like when he's in a normal conversation, it's already kind of gravelly and scary. But then when he gets fucking hardcore, it's like, holy shit, this guy's not playing around.
So yeah, Righteous Gemstones. Sorry to derail.
Yes, of course. And then Fleabag Season 2 is next week, I believe, right?
Next week, baby.
Our hotline call extravaganza for the members of the Mollusk Militia on our $10 tier dropped a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And then
if you want more Succession talk, that is where you can find it.
Yeah,
it was basically we touched on a little bit of Fleabag and a little bit of The Boys.
There was a little Game of Thrones even.
The Boys, some Game of Thrones, but it was heavy on the Succession talk. So if you wanted to follow up to our season 1 finale of Succession, that's where to find it.
Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Also, in September we had a lot of great shit as well. Also in August, also in July, also in June. And I bring that up because when you sign up on Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles today, you'll immediately gain access to our entire backlog of ad-free podcast and video content, as well as some written content, too. We've got a fun Saturday show for y'all today, covering a lot, as Barrett mentioned. Netflix's El Camino. Finally going to talk about it. We've actually got a great Breaking Bad / El Camino related news story I'm going to bring up as well.
Okay.
And then HBO's Watchmen premiere. And then we're doing an actress for the first time for our top 5 for another A-lister.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Leesa. I think Leesa, one of our longest running sponsors, makes what is, in my opinion, the greatest mattress in the entire world, most comfortable bed I have ever laid eyes or body on. It is your mattress is the most important purchase you can make for your home, right in front of your television, right? Your living room television. The most important purchase is your master bedroom mattress, and Leesa makes the best. They know how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you, and to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. All of their products have been thoughtfully designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary you actually want to spend time in. Their most advanced luxury hybrid mattress is the one that I have. It's made with premium foams and springs for enhanced pressure relief with edge-to-edge support. Thoughtfully designed with the best of both worlds. I've had mine for about 3 years now. It is unbelievable. In fact, I can't wait to get home to my house after we record here today so that I can get back into that bed and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. Leesa believes all people should have access to deep rest and relaxation, and as such, they make it easy for their customers to know they've made the right choice through their social impact initiatives tied to each purchase. They donate 1 mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention, and to date, they've donated more than 33,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits. Leesa mattresses are made in the USA. In-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Don't miss out, Clam Fam. Live healthier. Live happier by resting deeper. Order today and get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at leesa.com/dragon. Use the promo code DRAGON. That's LEESA.com/dragon. Promo code DRAGON. Let's talk some El Camino.
Okay.
First of all, when did you watch?
I watched 1 hour of it last night, and then I watched 1 hour of it this morning.
That's what I did. Great minds. Actually, mine was 1 hour 2 days ago and 1 hour this morning, or like 30 minutes this morning. I finished it off this morning.
Yeah.
I guess let's start with the general expectations we had going in.
Okay.
And our place as Breaking Bad fans. What was Breaking Bad to you versus what it was to me?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, I was pretty surprised by El Camino. This is not exactly what I expected. So I'll say that straight off the bat.
In what way?
So let me rewind real quick. So I was not like a bleeding edge Breaking Bad fan. So I was catching up on the seasons on Netflix before season like five, I think, and then 5 was like split into those 2 separate, drops, right?
Right, whichever. I think it was 5, yeah.
Yeah. So I like wrapped up season 4 just in time for like that, season 5 to come on, and then was live for basically, those last like 5 or 6 episodes or whatever it was.
Got it.
I'm on record as saying that Breaking Bad was not my favorite show.
Right.
It's not in my top 5.
Yeah, it was. You found it to be, from a general societal perspective, a little overrated, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was due not to the filmmaking, which I thought was like top notch. And I think Vince Gilligan just, had incredible control over that show and is a brilliant filmmaker and screenwriter. I didn't. It's always hard for me when I do not like a single character. And so, just to compare it real quick, the way that Succession makes me empathize and sympathize with characters that are scum, Breaking Bad never did that for me. I never liked Jesse or Walt. And that was a hump that I found hard to get over.
Yeah. You and I have probably had this conversation 10 times over the years, and I've never been able to make sense of it. But this is how it goes. So people have different opinions.
I will also say, so El Camino starts, and I let it do the little recap thing, right? I don't think Breaking Bad is going to age well.
Really?
That recap was almost cringeworthy to me.
Wow. I think, dude, it just, for whatever reason, Breaking Bad is not your bag.
Yeah.
It's just odd. I didn't feel that.
So, okay. So, now on to El Camino.
To counter that, one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time, and
Top 3? Would you say top 3?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't say top 3. Yeah, I can. Top 3.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, it's top 3.
I'll also say this. It is a show that I would like to revisit. I feel like I should go watch it again.
I feel like you need to watch it at another point in life, though.
Yeah.
And hope that you're wrong about it aging poorly.
Yeah.
Obviously. I think you... Okay, here's the thing that worries me. Vince Gilligan's other massive success pre-Breaking Bad was The X-Files. Now, obviously, that was a lot more dependent on sci-fi CGI to create the weird aliens and shit, and this was in the 90s before the technology existed. It aged like a fucking human. It aged like shit. It's awful, and it's fun, and I know X-Files fans adore it. My dad being one of the biggest ever. I think my dad would have murdered my entire family just to have like 10 minutes with Gillian Anderson. I'm not kidding. And now I think I would murder my entire family for 10 minutes with Gillian Anderson.
Is up there, man.
And it's been 20 years, and I would still make that decision. But no, for X-Files, I went and rewatched it like 5 years ago, and holy shit, it is tough to get through.
Yeah.
And that worries me a little because Vince Gilligan obviously in charge of
sci-fi is especially difficult.
It's a tougher, it's a different deal.
Yeah.
I have never had that thought about Breaking Bad.
I didn't either until that little recap, and I was just like, this show doesn't look great. It was just a little recap.
What was it even? What did the recap ship from the show?
It just told you like the story of Breaking Bad in like 2.5 minutes.
I don't even think I watched that.
Okay.
At the front.
Yeah.
I wish I had.
You can hit skip recap, so maybe you did.
Shit. Okay, maybe I did.
All right, on to El Camino. Here's why it surprised me. It's been several years, right? I can't remember what year Breaking Bad ended, but it's been 5 years?
Something like that.
Something like that,
I'll
right?
look it up, yeah.
So I kind of had this feeling that that El Camino was going to stay with the time.
6 years, September 29th, 2013, so almost...
So I thought that El Camino was going to do more of like, where's Jesse now?
As in, like, that much time has passed.
Yes.
Let's jump forward into the future.
Let's jump forward here and, like, see what Jesse is up to and maybe do a little bit of how he got there type stuff.
Got it.
Instead, what we got was basically 2 more episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All about Jesse and right after the end of Breaking Bad.
It essentially, and I appreciated that about this. I'll say this. I didn't go in having any idea what it might or might not be. Based on the trailer, or the teaser, actually. I don't even know if I ever watched a trailer. You didn't get much. And I never really wanted to know, so I didn't look into it at all. Like, I was just like, all right, if we're going to do this, if I'm going to trust Vince Gilligan and Aaron Paul to take what, in my opinion, is one of the best TV shows ever made and try to continue to roll with it, which is a very, very dangerous and stupid thing to do that most people cannot be trusted with, then I want to go in blank. And so I did. And here's what I think happened there. They sat down and they were like, look, I think we both, maybe it was Aaron Paul who was like, my career has fucked since Breaking Bad and I need a win. Help me. And maybe Vince Gilligan was like, let me see what I can come up with. But I think they thought through it and were like, this needs to be, if we're going to do this, it has to be done simply and it needs to be very straightforward in what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think when they came down to it, they were like, why don't we just make it, we pick up right where we left off and we tell how Jesse gets out of this, basically.
Yeah.
How does Jesse end this chapter of his life?
Yeah.
And from that perspective, in its simplicity, this is a very simple movie.
Yeah, very
plot-wise.
Yes.
It is literally one linear thing.
Well, and that's I call it 2 episodes like that because I hit pause last night at right about an hour and 3 or hour 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like that's half the movie, and Jesse had basically just like found Todd's money. That was it.
Right.
Like that was 1 episode, is him going and tracking down
the money.
Todd's money.
Yes. For the purposes of trying to get the fuck out. Yeah.
And then the second episode was him coming up with more money
and executing
to pay the dude
the escape.
To make the escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was with that. I thought that so Skinny Pete and Badger were characters that I was not in or out on in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
I thought
Badger was like one of my favorite comedic elements. Skinny Pete was all right.
Yeah,
to me. It's in the show.
It is so hard, and I don't know why this is, and I'd love to think of an example that does it well, but trying to make let me think about how to say this. Trying to make wankster characters believable on screen is exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, but they also made it like kitschy on purpose.
Right.
And it always was that. Like Jesse as a character, that's always why you didn't like him too. Because it's not the version of it that we know as dudes from Houston who have seen a million guys like this. It's a weird Albuquerque, Vince Gilligan'd up version of that character. And it's one that I think for you, like, always struck you as false.
With Skinny Pete and Badger especially, Jesse is actually the best. They do Jesse pretty well, I think. Yeah.
I loved, for whatever reason, I thought Badger was phenomenal. Skinny Pete was always the one that bugged me a bit. And then I thought it was interesting that in the movie, Skinny Pete, as a character and that actor, is much more confident and, like, has more, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, bravado than he did in the show ever.
Right.
So, like, when he starts talking, I'm like, yo, did Skinny Pete, like, get a come-up between the last episode and now? Because he's, like, full of confidence and, he's like...
He's not like such a
He's not so
crackhead.
methed out. Yeah. He's not such a crackhead. It was a little more, like, coherent. Speaking of which, in terms of changes, like, the one thing that was very noticeable about this movie, and from the get-go, we get the scenes with, like, Jesse screaming and all that shit, and then he's obviously scarred up all over his face with facial hair, and he's a mess, and they got footage from the show that they were able to use, but then anything they filmed new, Jesse's got about 20 pounds of muscle on him.
Muscle, fat, who's to say?
Well, there's a neck there.
There's a neck there, yes.
A very noticeable neck.
Very, very, very noticeable.
And it strikes me more as workout neck than fat guy neck. But I don't, is it that he's thick? With two C's?
Yeah.
Weird.
So
how'd that happen?
This was also...
Do you know? I don't know why you would know.
No, but I'm glad that you noticed too, because everybody else, I thought they were able to kind of like bring back,
reel them in
to their 6 years ago look.
Right, they were,
except for Jesse.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It did. This was again one of the reasons why I kind of expected them to fast forward a little bit, so that we weren't trying to believe a 35-year-old Aaron Paul versus 29-year-old Aaron Paul. And I don't know if those are the actual ages, but I mean, we are right in the thick of that, and this is where it happens.
Right.
This is where you go from being young to not being young anymore.
Right.
It's like this early 30s zone.
Oh yeah.
And
in your opinion,
in my personal opinion, yeah,
I think it's in your 50s, but okay.
And yeah, he's gained a little weight, whether it's muscle or fat, I'm not sure.
I figured it was like for another role that he was having to beef up for or whatever, but
it's
like
possible.
Couldn't have planned this shit different where he could have methed down back to Jesse, because like the neck bugged me.
That was the telltale aging.
But as you said, they did seem to do a really good job of reeling everybody back. Nobody else did I look at and go, oh man, they changed too much. It looks a little funky. Every other character was solid, including Todd Alquist, the Jesse Plemons character, that I was excited to have him as he's sort of the first episode, if you will, the first hour of the movie's central bad guy, and he's so good.
He's unbelievable. We talked a little bit about how Homelander, is so hateable, and I compared him to Joffrey.
Yes.
Jesse Plemons as Todd Alquist is like right up there with those guys. I cannot. He makes my blood boil.
He's such a believable and hateable sociopath.
Yes.
Because he has the the shit him talking about his cleaning lady and shit. Dude, he's on. And it was that way in the show. He was like, I don't know if you remember this episode, but the one thing about Todd I always recall is the episode where they're out there, they're trying to do the train track heist, the train heist, and Todd shoots that little kid.
Right. Yeah.
And it's when things start to spiral. And for those of you, this was the thing that my dad forgot. Like, Todd is the reason everything goes down.
Yeah.
Todd is the nephew of the big bad guy that inevitably kills Walt and causes this whole thing. And it's the guys that, the crew of which Jesse ends up cleaning up the end of at the end of this movie. But Todd was sort of the catalyst to all of the things that unfolded the last couple seasons of Breaking Bad. And he was a sicko, dude. And he fucking killed it. Like, that guy, Jesse Plemons, we raved about how good he was in
Fargo, I think.
Fargo as well. And he's basically playing the same sort of character. And it's like, I don't know. There's something about him. I need him in more movies. I really like watching him act.
I was looking up Jesse Plemons about halfway through, just, because he's so good as Todd. And just like, one, good job on this guy for being like, I'm a funny-looking character actor type dude.
And I'm going with it.
And I'm leaning in. Because
I'm getting a belly.
He's a weird-looking guy.
Hell yeah.
He's got like this wide, kind of like flat face. He's kind of a ginger. And let's just give him also due props because hasn't he tied down Kirsten Dunst now?
Is that the case? I knew they were I believe he has.
Yeah. So good job by you, buddy.
God, yeah, he's really, really doing it for himself, isn't he? He's a very strange looking man.
He is.
And then when he puts on the weight, he starts to look really funny. But I think you're right. He found that, like, look, this makes me look distinct as shit, and I'm already he sort of has this cool slant on the way he puts his characters.
Yeah.
And, it just makes him stand out more. But I really like that guy.
Yeah. So back to Skinny Pete and Badger. I kind of was.
He's in The Irishman, by the way.
I was kind of chuckling at them.
Not Skinny Pete, Jesse.
Jesse, yeah. Jesse Plemons, right? Yeah. I was kind of chuckling at them in those opening scenes.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was just Breaking Bad. That was basically fan service.
Yeah.
Those conversations. Yeah.
But
playing video games and shit.
But after that, I'd say I got into this movie. I thought it was pretty well done. Again, surprised at how kind of just like immediate it was after the end of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And
literally that scene to the next one.
I surely would not call this a necessary coda to the show.
Coda.
Being like a little tag on the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't necessary, but now that they have done it and I have watched it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I don't know how other Breaking Bad fans have felt. I think I saw a little bit in our mentions when we asked the Clam fam kind of for their thoughts. Feel like most people I saw were putting this in like the 7 to 8 range, which I think is fair.
So I'd say 8.2 was probably the average. I saw B minus.
For me as somebody that wasn't so attached to Breaking Bad, I definitely wasn't like I wasn't like, oh man, they really went out and ruined this.
So for me, Breaking Bad being as important as it was and as good as it was to me, I had that fear, and this is a huge win because to get a B or a B plus or a B minus even out of this movie is the goal. That's the goal. You're not trying to make an Academy Award winning. Look, like you said, this is 2 episodes of Breaking Bad stacked on top of each other to close off the series and rake in some cash for Gilligan and fucking Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
And they did that. And they didn't ruin anything. It would have been nice if there wasn't so much neck, but other than that, that's my only complaint, dude. His neck was my only fucking complaint. I thought they did a good job of giving Breaking Bad fans a little more without ruining anything of it. But in terms of big things, we confirmed the death of Walter White via radio news at the beginning-ish. The whole premise of the movie is Jesse's escape, right?
Right.
And we'll just briefly run through some of these plot points. So what he has to do is go find. He's aware Todd has money. He has to go find that money in order to try to pay the vacuum guy price to escape to Alaska. We've known about the vacuum guy since the show.
Can I ask you two quick questions? Because this was 6+ years ago.
Yeah.
We're supposed to know who Vacuum Guy is?
Yes, so at one point during the Breaking Bad series, Vacuum Guy became an option, and Walter was going to use him at one point.
Does Walter use him?
No.
Is that who gets him out to wherever the fuck he was?
Yes, that is who gets him out to the wilderness where he was, yes. Vacuum Guy.
Okay.
And then Jesse at one point refuses Vacuum Guy and doesn't pay, which is why in this fucking movie, he's like, yeah, you actually owe me $125K for the last time? Gonna need double that, buddy. And then he's like 8,000 short or whatever and has to go murder people to get it.
Yeah.
Which was...
Sometimes it just happens, man,
All those people need to die. Everybody in that warehouse was scum. They all needed to go.
Okay, second quick question. Sorry, I'm interrupting the plot points here, but...
I have notes.
Can you remind me really quickly how Jesse ends up trapped in a cage attached to welded metal there, like at the end of Breaking Bad?
So I can't remember the exact specifics around it because I didn't go back and do a rewatch, and I also did no prep for this movie. Like people were like, go back and watch this episode, or like Aaron Paul posted, this is the only clip you need to watch before you see it. And I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go fucking watch it.
Yeah.
No, but the gist of it was this: he was kidnapped by those Todd's hillbilly crime family, and held captive in an effort to, I believe, get either Walter to work for them. That was always one of the angles people were using, or at least that the cartel was using.
They say in one of the flashbacks here that Jesse's going to cook, I think.
Or they were getting Jesse to cook for them. Yeah, whatever. It was either Jesse cooking or trying to get Walt. I believe it was the former. Jesse was supposed to be their next cook.
Okay.
And
he didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do anything at that point, no. And then Walt has to go out there and save his ass is the decision that he makes.
Which is at the very end.
And that's when he frees him and dies, and Jesse drives off in the El Camino, and this movie starts from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the gist of it. I don't remember the exact specifics, and that was one of the questions I had for myself during this movie. I was like, what happened to how did he get, and then what? You know what I mean? There was like a lot of, but it really didn't fucking matter in terms of whatever. I will go back and rewatch Breaking Bad in its entirety at some point. I still haven't. I've hit episodes here and there, but it's one every other favorite show of mine I've ever had. I've rewatched, and Breaking Bad is stressful, bro. It's really high anxiety. It's not super enjoyable most of the episode because it's very very good, obviously, but it's super stressful.
Yeah,
and I also appreciated that this movie was not that. At no point was I like, everything is on the line. You know what I mean? I was like, I could really give a fuck what happens here. I'm going to enjoy it no matter what.
Well, I mean, Jesse has nothing to lose, and we kind of like feel that.
Yeah.
If he dies,
it's
so
over.
what?
Yeah, and he knows that. A couple points. He's like, I'm fucked if I don't actually get this done, so no, if you want to kill me, go for it. Todd and Jesse rolling Sonia, the cleaning lady, up in his carpet it was a classic Breaking Bad moment.
Him stopping to get his belt?
Yep. Dude, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. There's like 4 or 5 moments in this movie that were classic, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not genuine, just like fucking perfect Breaking Bad moments. Like so on brand, the kind of moments that made the show so good. And there was a handful of those. One of them was when they were rolling her up in the carpet for me. What else? So Jesse goes back to find the money Todd hid in the encyclopedias, and what happens? Oh, he's talking about, what's the dude's name? Todd's uncle telling him nothing's better than cash on hand, and he rips the whole fucking apartment apart.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being hidden in the refrigerator. And then these 2 cops show up, and then they're not cops.
Yeah.
And it's our boy from the Righteous Gemstones and then that other dude. That was a nice little twist. I didn't see it coming that they weren't actually cops.
I did not either until,
until he says, you guys aren't cops. That's when it hit me. I was like, oh my God, they're not.
Yeah, when they start tying him up without handcuffs.
Oh, yeah.
So you're right. I didn't see it coming.
No handcuffs, yeah.
Weird move. I guess Jesse takes that move there to like be like, freeze, bitch, because he knows that they're going to tear the whole place up too.
I guess.
But like, if he thought that they were cops, which he did, it seems like you'd try to like hide and wait them out.
Well, doesn't he initially? Doesn't he like run back into the kitchen and try to hide or something?
Yeah, but then the guy's like reaching down for the pill
and that's
bottle.
When he pops out, freeze,
and he
bitch.
like cocks the gun.
Yeah, I think he figured he was gonna get seen right there no matter what, and it was like time to make the move.
Maybe so.
Jesse seeing his parents on the news through a window as he scours Todd's place was like sort of this heartbreaking moment to even remember that he had those parents. And like just because when I was a teenager or whatever, I was such a fuck up that it was like a total disaster for my parents. There was always something like relatable about that, that element to like being a parent, and there's always the chance your kid could end up like this total and utter fuck up no matter what. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And Jesse telling his parents, like, this wasn't y'all's fault. Like, everything about this is on me was a cool kind of, like, conclusive moment or whatever. If you remember back to the show, there was, like, this funny element where Jesse's little brother actually ended up being kind of a piece of shit, too. Not a piece of shit, but he smoked pot or whatever. And Jesse took the blame for him when it wasn't even Jesse's or whatever. Takes that joint and, like, throws it out in the street. But there was just it was such a fucking good show, Barrett. You need to rethink it. Oh, man, what? Oh, another funny thing. You know how they take Sonia, the cleaning lady, they get her rolled up in the carpet, and then they throw her off the balcony? I did that with a Christmas tree once. I couldn't get the Christmas tree out the door.
Yeah.
I lived on the 3rd story of my apartment complex, so I threw it off the balcony. Doing that with a human body would be absolutely horrifying. It was terrifying with a Christmas tree.
Well, doing anything with a dead body would be unsettling.
I am aware of that, as I have once encountered a dead body. Remember?
Yeah.
I had to CPR a dead body. changed my whole perspective on shit.
Are we positive that guy, did he die? He died?
He was dead when I found him.
Oh, he really was?
Oh, bro. He was a dead body. He had pissed himself.
Wow.
It was a corpse.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to touch it.
And he just died right at his car?
So he was clearly like, it's a slight uphill slope in that parking lot, bro. This was a fat guy, probably in his like late 60s, maybe early 60s. I couldn't tell. He looked awful. He was dead. He'd been dead for 20 minutes or so. His face was fucked. It was awful. But he clearly didn't take care of himself, and he was like walking to his car and just had a heart attack and fucking died.
Good
and
Lord.
then God was like, you know what would be funny is if Ross tried to bounce from work a few minutes early without anybody noticing, and then he found a corpse in the parking lot. I told that story on the Ross Bolen podcast at some point. You can go find that if you want to. Anyway, what else? A couple other things. So, blah, blah, blah. The guys aren't cops. Jesse ends up three-way splitting the money with those dudes, which they estimate's like about $1 million in the fridge, I believe. And then they go their separate ways, and Jesse remembers the Righteous Gemstones guy because of his welding truck. And the Righteous Gemstones guy has that moment where he's like, I was wondering when you'd remember me. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the ones where you're like, this guy's really good at being evil.
Yeah.
Because you really want to fight him right there in that moment. And then we start to see the ways he was involved. He helped build the fucking Jesse hamster wheel running back and forth thing that they set up in there or whatever. And I think he was one of the guys that tortured Jesse as well, maybe? Or that was the impression I was. Maybe he didn't torture him. We never really get the torture scenes, do we?
No.
Because he's got whip scars on his back, bro. They put him through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'm not clear on why.
I
need to go back and watch.
That whole thing was like the one thing that I wish I had
confusing.
Like, remembered from Breaking Bad is like what happens. They think he's a rat somehow because he wants to like stop, and then I can't remember. I wish I remembered how he ends up like in the hands of Uncle Jack and Todd.
I want to remember why they're so horribly mistreating him. I get that they wanted to make meth, but why are they like? They're also like actively killing the guy. I don't know. Mike, do you want to jump over here and yell into my microphone about what? Or you have a microphone. You can just turn on yours.
Oh, I can do that. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what we're wrong about so far here?
No, you're kind of on the right track. Yeah.
That's good. That's all we need.
Kind of. The deal was that
this
Walt.
Producer Mike, by the way.
Hey, Walt was supposed to train Jesse Plemons to make the blue meth for Uncle Jack.
Okay.
And then Jesse Plemons is such a fuck up. He doesn't know how to make the meth. It keeps coming out green or brown.
He's a dumbass.
Yeah. So he decides to kidnap Jesse, and Jesse tries to escape all the time. So there's all these. They don't really show you much, but they start to torture him and hurt him so he won't escape.
Okay.
And then they threaten his girlfriend and the child, and they kill the girlfriend in front of him.
Yep.
And that's when he pretty much becomes submissive.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. Yeah, they have that picture of the girlfriend and the child.
And they're gonna, and that's Todd's big threat is that he's gonna go back and see the kid. Brock.
Right. Damn, dude, I totally forgot about the. Dude, that show got really messed up at the end.
So
also the whole time.
Todd killing the girlfriend is one of the things they show in the recap.
No shit.
Yeah.
I really should have watched that recap.
Yeah.
I gotta stop pressing buttons.
And that's when he's all socio style about it when he just like is like standing behind her. He's like, it's not personal.
Oh, dude.
I just want you to know it's not personal. And like executes her.
He's a guy that he's one of those dudes, just like you said, Joffrey. If I saw him in the street, I'd be like, I want to say hi and great job, but I also kind of want to punch you and run. Just so I'll have that one punch for the rest of my life. Like I punched that motherfucker. So Jesse goes to the vacuum guy, finally, after all this. He has to murder all he's capping. They have this Western, like, standoff where they're going to draw pistols, and then Jesse has a second pistol.
Yeah.
He cheats.
Smart.
But he does blow that dude away.
Yeah.
Like, he puts a good 6 rounds into that dude.
Okay, can we talk about the shootout
the
that
immediate follow-up?
Where
so Jesse
none
goes
of them can hit each other?
Jesse goes from a marksman who hits all 6 rounds in the guy's upper body, and then he can't land a single shot on the next guy?
Well, then I think he's with the 22. I think he's trying to... No.
Well, eventually he catches him in the head.
Yeah, because he gets him in the head. It must still be with that.
But I mean, they are 10 feet away from each other. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, and the one guy cannot. Yeah, they can't hit shit. Can't hit the backside of a barn.
And look, I think this was last week, but it might have been on this show. Might have been on RBP. It's been a long week. It's Saturday. I was talking about how hard it is to shoot a pistol. Was that okay? So I feel that.
No. That's
also Dumb and Dumber, great pistol shooting scene where he
yeah.
And you're a horrible shot.
I'm with you. Like shooting a pistol is not easy.
Right.
Aiming is very difficult.
Yeah.
You have to be a very well-trained gun person to like hit targets at the gun range.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Well.
Oh, sure, hon.
And now we're like in a, high adrenaline situation where you're trying to hit a moving target. Like, it makes sense that these shots would be kind of going all over the place.
Right.
But we just saw Jesse like drop the dude with 6 shots to the chest.
Like, da. Yeah.
That's why it was like, okay, wait, what? How can you not just like hit this dude?
Yeah, maybe the adrenaline of like having them shoot back and forth at each other. I don't know. Whatever.
Again,
it was
a moving target at that time, and
Yeah.
he like had time to kind of like aim that pistol in his jacket right at the dude, and then stand there.
Sure. Well, he gets the money, gets the extra money. He
it was
needs.
like jarring to be like,
What?
these guys aren't hitting each other.
Yeah. That was like me playing Modern Warfare last night. So he finally goes to the vacuum guy, right? He tries to figure out which vacuum guy it is first, and finally he just takes a shot at it.
Yep.
Goes in, the dude's like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Push comes to shove.
Because
and
he sees the red van outside.
Yes, so he's able to identify that as the one that showed up the last time.
Yep.
And as I said, the guy demands, look, you didn't pay for the prior time when you turned down that service, and then Jesse ends up, $1,800 short or some minuscule amount of money. Turns out this dude doesn't give discounts for any reason ever.
No, which is kind of a dick move.
It was a little annoying that he actively refused to give him any type of price break.
Yeah.
Sir, you're receiving almost $250,000 here.
Yeah,
This is $250,000. You can't give him a slight, maybe a 10% coupon? You're a vacuum guy. You think vacuum guy would have some bargaining and some wiggle room there.
It was he couldn't give him less than a 1% discount. $2,500 would be 1% discount.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
But also, it's the principle of the thing, I suppose. Well, here's the deal. It's not as if Jesse's going to do this deal, then go to Alaska and write a Yelp review. You know what I mean? It's what do you have to just give this guy a price break? No one's ever going to know.
There should be
Who's he going to tell?
Be a black market Yelp, though.
There should be.
Yeah.
I feel like it existed, and it was that dude.
Silk Road.
It was Silk Road, and now he's in prison forever
yeah.
because of the murders and the hitmen and the prostitution and the sex trafficking and a lot of bad things happened.
Oh yeah.
But also some very good people got their heroin that needed it at some point, I'm sure. So the guy ends up calling the police on Jesse at one point, and Jesse, that fucking scene was so good where he's like, I know you didn't actually call the police, bitch. Like, you never hang up on the police. They ask you to stay on the line. And you knew the car was going to roll up behind him in the window, and then it did. That was another great Breaking Bad moment. Jesse calls his parents. They want him to turn himself in, and he tells them to pick him up from a park, and it's this really touching moment. And then you figure out, it's just so he can break into the house. Just one last time, but it was good to get that moment with him, like telling his parents, like, it's not on you.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like when you guys like sent me on a ski trip, and then just so you could break into my house and smoke pot in there over spring break.
It's almost the exact same, except we weren't trying to escape from the police. Except the police did actually show up.
Yeah. See,
and then
so many parallels.
There were kind of a lot of parallels there. No, except that I escaped. We all did. Well, temporarily. Then we got caught. We didn't really get in trouble for that.
No.
You were just pissed for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Barrett went on vacation, so we broke into his house, and we got fucked up because that's what you do in high school. You do stupid shit. Sorry to the Dudley family. That was very inappropriate. I can't imagine now that I'm 32 and I own a house, if I had a kid and I went and I took that kid on vacation and then I got a call from the police saying that kid's shithead friends had broken into his house to get high to my house. I don't even know what my reaction would be there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would say. I'd just be like, this is
double-edged sword. What if they break into your house and they smoke your weed?
That's the real thing that I'd be worried about. It's like, fuck, can they find my stash? It's going to be a different problem than the one your parents... Actually, they could have been thinking that. I don't know. Shit. What up, Jim and Charlotte? So
he doesn't get any money there, though. He only gets the guns.
Right. But then he goes back to those dudes.
Yeah.
Now they have a stripper party going.
Candy welding.
And that's when it's on, and he has to kill them all. And
Ross, do you think that it feels like a movie and TV trope, like blue-collar guys hanging out at their place of work and getting strippers and blow? Do you think that is give me like a percentage that's just movie shit, or a percentage that actually goes down.
Okay, so it's tough for me because like my version or my view on the world is clearly skewed as like, I feel like as a white dude who's focused on partying for 20 years, I think that number's way higher than it is. Like most of the blue collar white dudes that I know, yeah, they get down like that.
Okay, all right.
Like they don't fuck around, and they're mostly more scummy, and they're strip club people, and they fucking love strippers, and it's like the work hard, play hard mentality with none of the morals or values attached. So,
it goes down.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I don't. But the thing is, I'm like, because I want to say like 50% of those type of like blue collar dudes.
Yeah. I don't mean to put a percentage on them, like the number of them that get into that.
Oh, okay.
I meant like. My question was poorly phrased. I just meant like, do you think that's more of a movie trope or more of a
no? That's a thing.
Like pulled from real life.
That's definitely a thing pulled from real life. Okay. And I think just like the more blue collar of a dude you are, the more likely you are to find yourself in situations with strippers. It's just part of the way it goes, dude.
Shouts to all our blue collar listeners.
Fuck yeah, absolutely, man. We have quite a few of y'all actually. What are we? What collar are we? Just white?
Yeah. Not really any, but more white collar than blue collar.
Like I literally
we don't get our hands dirty.
Don't wear a collar unless I'm forced to for like a wedding or a funeral.
I mean, white collar is like typically thought of more as like your bankers and your lawyers and your doctors.
We're definitely not that.
All that, but we're in the media age now, so it's like tech is basically a white collar job as well. Media is a white collar job.
Can we pick our own collar?
You wear a pink one. I don't give a shit.
Okay. I'll think about this.
But the original distinction was like basically like working in an office versus working like in a
corporate setting,
warehouse or
corporate setting,
factory
versus
or manufacturing or industrial type stuff.
Right.
Like those are the
we get a Walter White flashback in the end.
We do. Did you expect that? I did not. I didn't think we were going to get.
Bryan Cranston. I had seen a clip of them transforming him back into Walter White on Instagram, and that kind of ruined that surprise for me. But because I could tell it wasn't from back in the day.
Bryan Cranston seems like a really just great dude.
He really does. I hope he is.
He seems to be down for all. You know who he kind of reminds me? He's like John Hamm in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
Like totally down. Like he does not just because he was, Walter White. Or just because John Hamm was, what's his name?
Mad Men.
Yeah.
Don Draper.
Don Draper, thank you. They those were kind of all-time Pantheon TV characters.
Hell yeah, classic TV characters.
Put those guys on the map, made them pretty big stars, and yet both of them are like totally down to like do cameos, come back for the little shit.
Do shit for the people,
like show up
fun
in like
roles.
Funny or Die shit or random comedy movies.
Dude, that Bryan Cranston movie with not Seth Rogen, the weirder one.
James Franco.
With Franco was really funny. I really liked that movie. And it's like, I think this is the first time I've publicly admitted that, but I've watched it twice. I don't know why. I just really like that movie. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, so just it definitely not surprising that Vince Gilligan was like, "Hey, yo, Bryan, you want to do this?" And he was like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah. No, those guys are a pretty tight-knit group, I think.
Yeah.
But it was good to see those guys together again. I thought it was funny that Walter suggested Jesse told him he wanted to study sports medicine. And Mr. White's like, "How about business and marketing? Maybe we go with that." That's just such a generic, like, I don't know, maybe like I'll be a sports agent or like I'll do sports medicine or something. Also that Mr. White had forgot Jesse graduated from high school. He's like, you were on the stage when they handed me the diploma. Why would I need a GED?
I thought that was a well-done scene. I liked that they it was nice to see Aaron Paul kind of find that early Jesse character again, like that he was able to go there.
I liked that a lot. That was a very cool element to that scene.
It was kind of like you said, like Skinny Pete, like kind of had this like
difference to him.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I love the line from Walter, you're really lucky, you know that you didn't have to wait your whole life to do something special, because it just kind of was a reminder to how this all began, that a high school chemistry teacher diagnosed with cancer after taking X amount of lumps from life finally breaks and decides, fuck this, I'm not playing by the rules anymore, I'm getting mine. And Jesse and him are in completely different phases of life. Jesse's a kid who just graduated from high school, and is trying to find what is it that I'm going to do in this world. And then he finds out it's going to be meth. But it was just a nice reminder of like, Yeah, Jesse did do all this early on. He does have an opportunity to go to Alaska and with a fresh identity actually live a life, another 40 years or so, or 60 years even, man. Like, you don't know what he could accomplish. He could have a fucking family. And in the end, that's exactly what he does. Vacuum guy drops him off in Alaska. We close out like with a flashback of Jesse talking to his old heroin addict girlfriend Jane, which was cool that they sort of mixed her back in there. Honestly, the ending kind of felt like a whimper to me. Just like him driving and smiling. But I guess it was what it needed to be. I don't know.
I was okay with that. It obviously mirrored the end of his Breaking Bad arc.
Where he's screaming.
Yeah, so like it was like a night. It was.
He found his peace. He got out.
This was meant to resolve that in the first place. So
sure.
it was just kind of like reflective of that.
Yeah, and again, I have to appreciate the fact that I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
That they could have done an ending that made me go, no. And this, I was like, okay.
The real surprise is that Jesse Pinkman, after years of just having, F-, the worst possible style choices you could possibly make.
Yeah.
Then goes himself out and gets a handsome cream-colored fisherman sweater to wear on the truck out to Alaska.
Hey.
He's got the fur-hooded collar. He's popping off, man.
He looks good.
He looks great.
He looks good. That was a fashion statement. I like that. He started to develop a little bit more fashion taste. Season 1, Jesse was the trashiest dresser of all time.
He does like start wearing like
when
more like the leather jacket type stuff.
He goes black leather.
Yeah.
And that's the move for him, yeah. Rate the movie overall, Barrett, if you would. I'll go first. Like I said, didn't try to do too much. I completely ended up agreeing with what I'd seen basically on Twitter and on our Patreon and whatnot. B- to B+, somewhere in there. Accomplished what it needed to. It was a fun little continuation of Jesse's story. Could have almost just been a one long-ass finale episode. You could look at it that way, too, if you want to. And it had a lot of those cool, classic Breaking Bad moments that I was looking for. Again, without tarnishing any of the reputation of the show, which for me is a top 3, top 5 show of all time. And that was very important. So this is a big win, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think B- is fair. It was an enjoyable 2 hours.
Yeah, wasn't the coolest or craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but it was a fun time.
Sure.
Ready to move on?
I think so. Well, my one last note here is I just looked this up. So Aaron Paul is 40 now.
Whoa!
And so that's just the neck of a 40-year-old, and he's like trying to play
a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old, yeah.
Whatever it is.
30-year-old.
30, yeah, probably.
Okay, that's what my neck's going to look like in 8 years? Shit, man, that's not good. That's going to be really off
Better
base.
keep doing that yoga.
My neck is going to be 4 feet thick, like Jesse's is in the movie, and my legs will still be 3.5 centimeters wide, which is going to be very off-putting. Anyway, today's episode of OCC is also brought to you by Quip, makers of the greatest toothbrush in the history of oral hygiene. This thing is crazy good. It's going to blow your mind. The first time you brush with Quip using their built-in 2-minute timer that buzzes every 30 seconds to ensure you achieve a full and even clean, you're going to finish that brush sesh, and your brain is going to be mush because your mouth is going to feel so clean like you just left a very, very good, gentle, and loving dentist. I've been on Quip for a couple years now, maybe a little longer. This thing is too legit to quit. A fantastic sponsor and supporter of OCC. Make sure to use the code at the end of this read. Quip automatically delivers brush heads to you every 3 months for clean, new bristles right on schedule. The sleek, intuitive design is simple to use and comes with a travel cap that doubles as a mirror mount. These thoughtful features make brushing something you actually want to do twice every day. It is a thoroughly enjoyable part of my morning and evening routine now, and I am not joking. It will make your mouth feel so much more fresh and so clean. Good habits to live a healthier life. Form fresh oral healthy habits with Quip. Quip starts at just $25, and you'll get your first refill free at getquip.com/dragon. This is a simple way to support our show and start brushing better, but you have to go to getquip.com/dragon to get your first refill free. Go right now to getquip, Quip, getquip.com/dragon. So I found a story. It's a Breaking Bad related story, Barrett. Here's your headline.
Okay.
Breaking Bad fan who dissolved cop's body in acid is found dead in prison.
Oh, good Lord. Wow.
It's not dark, is it? Is that too dark? Well, you know how there was the scene in Breaking Bad where they dissolved that body in acid?
Yeah,
Some idiot tried to do that in real life to a cop.
Oof.
And he got caught, and then he got killed in prison. I would say, like, I don't want to say anything. Anyway, this Breaking Bad guy, he met someone on a popular on Grindr, the popular gay dating app, and it was a cop, I believe, and then he dissolved that man's remains in acid, and this guy it was a British police officer that he met on Grindr, and he was murdered in a London prison, I believe. Yeah, but here's the interesting part, that he admitted that, well, first of all, he said he was actually killed in a sex game gone wrong, but he admitted that, hold on, I'm trying to find the good quote
he admitted
here.
that the cop was killed in a sex game gone wrong.
Yes, but then he also said straight up that the way he decided to get rid of this guy was inspired by Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Brizzy, a crystal meth addict who had lost his job as a web developer, admitted being inspired by Breaking Bad, a crime drama about a high school chemistry teacher who turns to cooking methamphetamine after he is diagnosed with cancer. In one of the series' most unforgettable scenes, White, the protagonist, and Jesse Pinkman used acid to dissolve a drug dealer's body. So, an actual meth head in London that was a Breaking Bad fan killed a cop and then tried to go that route. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, sounds like we should cancel Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and all the video games and movies, really as well.
This is I've just had enough of like people being inspired by what they see on the screen. You know,
Yeah,
it's just sad.
It's weird. This actually brings us to our next sponsor. Today's episode of OCC is also brought to you by one of our. It's Truman's. Nothing taught us the importance of good cleaning supplies like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so when I'm walking down the cleaning aisle at a grocery store or whatever, it feels like a complicated chemistry lab, and you're surrounded by hundreds of different cleaners for different surfaces. You wish Walter White was there to help you.
Yeah, sometimes it's almost like cleaning is as hard as cooking meth.
It is. It is as hard, in many people's opinions. Yeah, there's just too many chemicals involved. It's a pain in the ass, and I'm sick of it. And that's why I'm excited to introduce you to Truman's, the coolest cleaning company on the internet, probably the entire universe. Truman's is decluttering the cleaning aisle with 4 non-toxic cleaners for your entire home, shipped free to your door. This stuff's incredible. The way it works is super cool. I got my first shipment in probably a month ago, their starter kit, so that I could try all 4 of their cleaners. And this is way, way, way better than anything you're going to find anywhere else, and it's seriously changing the world. To get started, you order your Truman's starter kit. You can try all 4 non-toxic spray cleaners for 45 days, risk-free, plus free shipping. So the Truman's starter kit comes with 4 reusable bottles, 4 amazing refill cartridges, and special deals on their refill plan. Their non-toxic sprays feature an all-purpose kitchen cleaner. That's number 1. Number 2 is a glass and technology cleaner. Number 3 is an all-purpose bathroom cleaner. And then number 4 is a floor cleaner that works on all hard flooring surfaces. By just adding water to Truman's refill cartridges, you'll reuse the same bottles. You're saving space. You're saving plastic, you're saving money, arguably the world, and that's why Fast Company honored them as a world-changing idea. Tackle all of your home's tough cleaning needs today the smarter way with Truman's. To receive 50% off your Truman's starter kit, visit Trumans.com and enter the promo code DRAGON at checkout. That's TRUMANS.com. Promo code DRAGON for 50% off your starter kit. Truman's, a better cleaning experience. Fuck me, Mike. Give me 1 second here. Gotta make sure that code is correct. Yeah. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's do top 5 Natalie Portman movies, shall we?
Top 5.
Top 5. Our first female, our first actress that we're doing for our top 5. Who have we done so far? We did Denzel Washington. We did Leonardo DiCaprio. We did Jack Nicholson.
Did we do? I don't think we did do Leo.
No, did we not do Leo? No, we didn't. I just made that up.
Yeah. We did Denzel.
We did Jack.
We did Jack Nicholson.
There was somebody else.
There was somebody else.
Who cares? We're now
Matt
doing
Damon.
Matt Damon. Yeah, no, we're doing Natalie Portman. By the way, I have a great promo social media clip created by one of our interns of you and I just doing Matt Damon over and over that I'll put up later today. So now we're doing Natalie Portman, who she has been at it for a very long time as well.
Now, see, she's a child star that has really, just made it work for herself.
And flourished. Just really flourished. Yeah. Did you know she has dual Israeli and American citizenship?
I did. I don't know why I found myself on her Wikipedia the other day, but I think I was just reading. I did read that recently, and Natalie Portman is not her original name.
No, she was born in Jerusalem, actually.
Yeah. So she's, yeah.
There's actually a sect of her fan base that believes she is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. That's not true. I just made that up.
Oh.
Jesus was born in Jerusalem.
Natalie.
You sinner.
Natalie Hirschlag. So very.
That's sexy.
She's,
Yeah. Well, everything
Israeli.
about her, I guess, is sexy, but she's awesome. I love her quite a bit. Let's talk about her best movies ever.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we brought up Star Wars earlier. We might as well touch on Natalie Portman's.
She plays Queen Amidala?
Amidabela? Something like that. Those movies that she was in were truly terrible.
They were...
She was maybe the only redeeming part, and she was terrible, too.
Hot garbage, yeah.
Yeah, her character was shit. I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. I know there's some of you who are like...
Her character, like you said, was okay. The movie is just overall stinkers.
There was no good elements to those three. Double-sided lightsaber for
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Cool with that. That scene was tight. Pretty much everything else was a disaster. Jar Jar Binks, maybe the worst movie character ever created.
Jar Jar Binks, those movies...
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Sans Jar Jar Binks, I think would have been looked at in a totally different light.
It really was that one character that sunk the whole ship.
Can you just like we laugh about how stuff gets through at studios,
how that got through,
but like I know there was 2003 or whatever it was, but who the hell thought that was okay?
Probably George Lucas.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a George Lucas interview? He's like one of those genius dudes. It's like he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Shit about it that you're like, okay, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just okay. Anyway, but yeah, she's done a ton of great movies. I'll say this: definitively, inarguably, there is no decision to be made here. My number one is V for Vendetta.
Okay.
From Natalie Portman. I fucking love that movie. I've seen it probably 10 times, and she is phenomenal in it. It's just a super, super cool. It's another like twist on it was like maybe the first twist on a superhero anti-villain type of fucking deal that I had ever watched, like in terms of big budget movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of came out of nowhere. It was just really original. Mike, was that inspired by a graphic novel, V for Vendetta?
Yeah, it was.
I
think it was Alan Moore who did The Watchmen.
Oh, thank you. And I loved it. It was just sort of the first that style of movie I'd seen, and then she crushed it, of course. Everything about it was phenomenal. But that's my definitive number one that there's not an argument around.
Okay.
But to go through some of her, like, random roles. Annihilation is one of the more recent ones I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in theaters. Did you?
I did not.
It was okay.
I've heard really good things about it.
If you like sci-fi movies, it is a fun-ass sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I recommend watching it if you catch it on HBO at some point. The dude in that movie that plays her husband or whatever is a great actor. He's also from the newer Star Wars, speaking of Star Wars.
Oscar Isaac.
Do you remember the movie Brothers?
No.
Okay, it's Jake Gyllenhaal and the first Spider-Man guy. Tobey
Maguire.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And Tobey Maguire goes off to war to serve as a Marine, and then Jake Gyllenhaal stays behind, and he's like a drifter who just got out of prison.
Oh yeah.
And then he like falls in love with his brother's wife, and they think the brother's dead.
Right.
And then the brother comes back.
Yeah.
And it's called Brothers. It's fucking tense. I saw it in theaters. It was all right. Anyway, I just felt like throwing that one in there. Mars Attacks.
Ooh, yeah.
Haven't seen that in 25 years.
She was in Mars Attacks?
You know what I put on here? Zoolander. She's in 5 seconds of Zoolander.
Yeah. Great cameo in Zoolander.
The incredible line about, like, what did she say? If there was one thing that was going to deter me from a relationship, it would be that he's probably too good looking.
That would be the one thing
that would deter me from a relationship.
Yeah.
That's the line. Yeah. That's phenomenal. So that counts. Did you see Vox Lux?
I've not seen Vox Lux.
I need to watch it.
Now, I did see Closer.
Okay.
Closer
That's
was
one of her, widely considered to be one of her better movies.
Very good film.
The Thor movies,
we got to mention. We got to mention Garden State,
of course. Garden State, Black Swan,
excellent.
Mm-hmm. The other Bolen Girl, which is just a movie I never saw. That's been people have said it to me 1,000 times.
Special props to Natalie Portman because I always appreciate actors. There are just some of them that have it. They just have the SNL gene. And
where they can do it.
Where they can just do it, and they do it really, really well.
She's one of those.
And Natalie Portman is one of them.
Yeah.
Most famously with her rap, her Lonely Island rap, where she like breaks a chair over Chris Parnell's head and like talks about doing drugs at Harvard. Is one of just like the all-time digital shorts.
And she's the one that was in Harvard when Zuckerberg was there. Was she not?
Maybe.
I'm pretty positive. There's a point in The Social Network where they make a joke about he was the most famous person on campus, including an A-list actress.
That's right.
And they say, who was the actress, and they move on. Well, it was Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she also just has a few other sketches that just like stick out in my mind as really, really funny ones. So she's a great SNL actress, so she can do comedy, which is great, which I love. You mentioned the Thor films. So interestingly enough, she was kind of rendered as like the damsel in distress in that Thor movie that she was in. And then so I've not seen, I saw Infinity War, I have not seen Endgame. She is credited in Endgame, so I think she pops up again. But what we do know is that Jane Foster, her character from those Thor movies, is now cast again in an upcoming Thor film in 2021 where she is playing Thor.
I saw that.
Like however the way the hammer works or whatever, like she becomes Thor basically and
pass the hammer
and can control the hammer. Which did you see the most recent Thor?
I've seen no Thors.
No Thors.
No Thors.
So the first two were the first one was okay. The second one was not very good. And then they like finally kind of like figured out this character, Taika Waititi. I'm probably saying that wrong. Directed this most recent one. It's called Thor Ragnarok. Thank you. Yes.
Was that actually correct?
And
I just made that up.
No, Thor Ragnarok.
I just invented that word.
And it's like
brain.
A really kind of like goofy, funny, really fun like action superhero film.
Okay.
So I expect good things from Love and Thunder.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Leon the Professional, Jackie is another great Natalie Portman movie that I saw in theaters where she plays Jackie Kennedy, obviously. What else? Beautiful Girls, Heat was on her list. Was she in Heat? Mike, can you clarify?
She was like
as a kid, right?
She was a kid. She was somebody's daughter.
Okay, just for the record, not a big fan of Heat. I'm not sure why. I only watched it once, and I remember being like, dude, I don't know why.
Heat is amazing, Michael,
right?
man.
And it should be right up my alley.
Yeah.
It's like it fits perfectly in with all the other things I love. And
Watch it again.
It makes no sense. I need to watch it again.
Did you ever see a movie called Hesher?
No.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I don't believe so.
Mike, what did you...
Yeah, it was like a vanity project with Gordon-Levitt playing like a guy who just sits at home and listens to Metallica all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cover looks like Slasher almost, like a metal band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was like a big metal fan. It was like a comedy drama about that.
Okay.
Yeah, he appears to have a tattoo of a stick figure blowing his brains out on his stomach. The character Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays in that movie, that is neat.
But we touched on Garden State. I feel like Garden State is what set off, a million crushes around the world.
Oh, indeed it did.
You know what I mean?
Indeed it did.
Like her sitting in the doctor's office and handing Zach Braff the Smiths record on the headphones is like
it's a classic moment. Iconic moment, indeed. I'll say number 1, V for Vendetta. Number 2, Black Swan. Number 3, Jackie. Number 4, Brothers. Number 5, Zoolander. Those are mine.
There you go.
Brothers is in there. I don't know why, how, or why. It just. You know what? That's not fair. Remove Brothers. Put Garden State in. It's just been too long since I've seen it, so I feel weird putting Garden State on my list. But I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
You ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Shall we? Today's episode of OCC is also brought to you by Vincero Watches. You are not going to find a sexier value in the watch industry. I have their Rogue in black and rose gold. Pull it up on VinceroWatches.com. Check it out. The Rogue. Look at it right now. Go and look at it. It is beautiful. You must behold it. Elevate your game with Vincero's handcrafted luxury watches at an unbeatable price. Seriously absurd price point for what you're getting because Vincero provides bold timepieces, always putting quality above all else. Whether you're looking to make a statement or just add a staple piece that you can wear every day for whatever reason, Vincero has a watch for you. If you want to change it up, all the Vincero watch bands are interchangeable. Best value in the industry, exceptional standards. Vincero exceeds expectations in both style and quality. I'm honestly in awe of the quality of their pieces. When you get one of these things, when it arrives at your door and you open it up, it's going to blow your mind based on the price point. And it's blown the minds of over 16,000 others who have written 5-star reviews over their Vincero watch. Get your Vincero watch today. With a special offer just for our listeners, go to VinceroWatches.com, enter the code DRAGON at checkout for 15% off your order, and worldwide shipping is always free. That's VinceroWatches.com, promo code DRAGON, VINCERO Watches.com, promo code DRAGON for 15% off and free shipping worldwide. If you're not a watch person, Christmas is coming. You're not going to find a better place to buy a watch for the loved one in your life that needs to know what fucking time it is.
You know the mall already has Christmas decorations up?
You're kidding me.
It's not even Halloween.
It's October 26th.
They already have like the garland and the Christmas presents
and
going down the elevators.
Why the mall is dead. That's why. VINCERO Watches.com, promo code DRAGON. All right, Watchmen series premiere, Barrett.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Speaking of El Camino not being what you expected, this really wasn't what I expected.
How so?
I didn't have expectations. So I went in basically having seen the movie Watchmen. And Mike, I'd like if you could actually chip in here some for Mike. Mike
Sure.
does a podcast called Who Pods the Watchmen. Mike is our producer at Permanent Record Studios. And is a huge Watchmen guy that knows a lot about the background and the lore and shit and all the graphic novels. Excuse me. Graphic novels, not comic books.
You can say comics. It's fine.
Can you? People don't freak out. That felt like a thing that I'd get stabbed by a nerd for.
Yeah. I won't stab you.
I appreciate that, Mike.
I'm too far away to stab you.
We only have a few minutes left. Anyway, so Mike has a good amount of information about this. I only had seen the Watchmen movie. I was a huge fan of the movie. I thought the movie was badass. Again, a great twist on the classic superhero tropes and shit. And I just thought it was incredibly well done and fun. And so I was looking forward to the series, and episode 1 definitely put me in a place where I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. Episode 1 is, like you said, when we've talked about on the podcast, the trailers were super vague. They were confusing. We did not know what to expect. The only thing that really...
It's Damien Lindelof, dude. This is what he does with trailers.
Right.
He's an asshole.
And the only thing that stood out in the trailers that was like recognizable from the original Watchmen graphic novel that the film was based on was we could see some Rorschach masks going on.
Mm-hmm. So you wondered, what's the angle going to be there?
What is the angle there?
The only other thing I noticed was that there was the very distinct Watchmen yellow, the yellow that the Watchmen text is in the movie, and that their pen that the comedian's wearing when he gets murdered or whatever that has the blood drop on it. That I noticed in the trailer. If you like, cops had it on their faces or whatever, and it was the other thing I noticed. Yellow. That color. That color was the other thing.
But yeah, other than that, really went in not knowing what to expect. So what we got is a continuation. This is 30 years after the end of Watchmen, basically.
Okay, and so the world has continued on.
This is playing around with the canon of Watchmen, but like it's after the fact.
But
so we're not really going. Our main people in this series are not going to be any of the characters really that we remember from the graphic novel.
Well, okay, so but like Mike, let me ask you a question. Mike, it's Tulsa 1921 on the show, I believe.
It opens in 1921. Yeah, there's a flashback.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we flash forward from there.
Right. Yeah.
To 30 years beyond.
To 2019, yeah. And just to be clear, the show is a sequel to the comic, not the movie.
Not the Watchmen movie.
Right, because in the comic, it ended with Ozymandias creating this giant squid that killed millions of people.
Okay.
And in the movie, they didn't use that.
No, so that explains the squids raining from the sky.
Right.
Which
so
was the weirdest part of episode 1 for me, is that I was like, why are there...
And also, just to elaborate more, the squid was also a hoax, right?
The squid was a hoax. It did happen. But the main line the lie in the comic was that the squid was an interdimensional alien that came to destroy us, and the idea was if we have an alien threat, then the entire warring nations of the world will come together and work together, just like in Independence Day,
right?
You know, and fight the alien, and it'll create a better world. Obviously, that didn't happen, but the squid was created by a man on Earth. So it was real, but it was a hoax in a way.
Okay.
So it did kill millions of people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why is it raining squids now?
We don't know. Apparently there's some residual squid weirdness still happening in the world, even though that squid was killed in the comic.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they explain the squid rain.
Yeah.
Because that's so far the one thing that I was like, I need to know how this
I like
makes
how
sense.
it's just an everyday occurrence. Oh, fuck, here comes the squid.
Dude, it's Lindelof. Yeah. Every show he does, he mixes in these elements of normalcy that as a viewer, you're like, this isn't normal at all. There's squids raining from the sky, sir.
Well, he's calling it, I mean, he says that it is a sequel to the comic lore, but he's calling it a remix.
A remix, right.
Which makes sense because it's a real thematic remix, because in the comic you had obviously the vigilantes dressed up as superheroes, and in this, now it's the cops who are dressed up as heroes.
So that was sort of the cool twist that I didn't see coming in terms of like the setup here, right? Is the cops are the good guys. And
maybe they still work in totalitarian ways, which
Sure.
is interesting. Yeah,
But are they the Watchmen of Or is it hard
Probably.
to say? You know what I mean?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to
yeah.
say. I
Yeah,
agree.
but they do have the cult. They have the masks. They have some of them that dress up differently than others. Our main character, the actress whose name is now slipping my mind, but she's
Regina King.
Regina King. Thank you very much. She's worked with Lindelof before on
Leftovers.
The Leftovers, which ended up being phenomenal. If you never watched it, I really loved it, especially seasons 1 and 3. And yeah, she's one of the police that's going to go in and be one of our main character for the series.
Sister Knight.
Sister Knight is her name.
Obviously we open on that scene that they show in Tulsa in 1921 is a historical event. It's called Black Wall Street.
Got it.
And so that is quite an explosive scene to open a show with. Very
quickly they show us they're going to go full blown. There's a lot of race, a lot of societal, cultural shit they're going to attack.
And you as you know, I trust Damon Lindelof, but you got to be able to back that scene up, right? Mm-hmm. Like you show us something like that, like there better be a reason for it.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I think that we'll get there. I think we're going there at the end of this episode with the big kind of like shocking
the little black boy from the beginning
Game of Thronesian ending there.
You mean Black Bran?
No, I mean that they kill a character that I thought was going to be like with us for the whole series.
I started to get a little suspicious of what was going to happen with that dude. Like 3/4 of the way into the episode, I was like, wait a minute, are they gonna pop this guy and he's not gonna be one of our main characters moving forward? Because he's a super famous and well-known.
Yeah, Don Johnson, man.
Yeah, he's incredible.
More broadly though, I really enjoyed. Look, man, Damon Lindelof is another. We talked about Vince Gilligan. Damon Lindelof is just an incredible
master of his craft,
TV maker.
That's what he is.
This first episode, even though it left a lot
also asshole
to be answered. Very, very kind of open-ended, very broad. We don't really know where it's going. We don't really know what it's about.
No, I don't have the slightest fucking clue.
But I just liked some of the questions that it kind of like, it ended, and I was thinking about stuff. I was like, with the cops who need permission now to get the guns
out, bro. That is some cool shit.
And that is worth thinking about. It's like, well, it makes a lot of sense with the way cops currently treat their weapons.
Sure.
But is that where we want to go?
Well, but then we see the effect.
Exactly.
Can't get the fucking gun out. Panda won't sign off on. Why is he Panda, by the way? Why is he wearing a panda?
That's just one of the weird. That it's just like one of the weird, like you said with the squids. It's just like
graphic,
a quirk that makes this like slightly out of reality.
See, and the more of those they mix in, the more I'm like, I like this. I like this. Yeah. Also, I had a panda that I slept with from the age of 0 days old. It was literally put in my crib the day I was born until like 14, and his name was Mr. Bear, and he still exists. And I am having trouble with the character named Panda being in the show.
Robert Redford is president for the last 30 years.
On the show?
Yeah.
Okay, that just slipped my mind.
That's what they call
yes, dude.
He is obviously given reparations back to the African Americans, which they call Redfordations.
Yeah, or that moron does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that because he was mispronouncing the word?
No. That's like it's like a slur.
Oh, because Robert Redford.
It was the president that.
I'm really slowly putting this together.
Did them, yeah.
But I'm doing it.
So it's pretty hyper focused on like the race relations. I've read some stuff that indicates that that is not actually like the main focus of the show, and that it kind of starts expanding a little bit more.
Can I say thank God?
It was certainly like I was watching this first episode, and all I could think about, or one of the things that I was thinking about was, I was like, oh, okay. So this is where they put in all the stuff that they wanted to put into that the Benioff and Weiss show that was so ill-advised.
Oh yeah, wow.
They wanted to do like the alternate history where what had happened? It was like
the South won the war.
The South won the Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really stupid idea.
They're just kind of like putting some of this, but some of those thematics that show was probably intended on playing around with are here in this first episode a little bit. Just interesting stuff. How nuanced was it to have I thought it was such a nice little sly critique that the member of the 7th Cavalry that gets pulled over, who is clearly like a bigot and a racist.
Oh yeah.
What's he listening to? Like
rap
he's bumping Future.
Right.
Like that's such a that is such a subtle critique of the way that like white people in general basically kind of adopt black culture and then don't really pay full respect to it. And in some cases adopt it and then, are
actively trying to destroy
it. Are actively racist, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's super fucking ridiculous, absolutely.
But I thought that was just that was an interesting
that
play
tense.
there.
That seems
very tense.
Release the weapon. Nope. Fucking panda, bro.
Yeah, it was. I was very into this. I liked it a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. I'm still curious as to all right, so we've got 7th Cavalry, which is basically like our KKK.
Yeah.
And they're all Rorschach mask wearing guys.
They wear and the implication there is like in Watchmen, the graphic novel, Rorschach is like he leans like really hard into this kind of idealistic far right sense of morality.
Okay.
And he publishes all of and at the end he like publishes all of it in like these weird, extremist diaries that
which is
kept.
The premise for the Watchmen movie, right, Mike? Is that it's Rorschach's diary or journal?
Not necessarily. At the end of the movie, when he dies, you realize that he has shipped his diary to this right-wing, like 1980s Breitbart publication.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
like
they publish it.
Magazine.
Yeah, this far-right magazine. And I guess the idea in the show is that these right-wing extremists have
run with that,
taken that as their Bible, but really
that's hilariously
bastardizes
genius.
It. But you're right, Barrett. It's interesting how they, how this group on the show is contorting. I mean, he was kind of a right-wing extremist, but he was also very obsessed with law and order.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's some good to that as seen in the comic and the movie. And I think you're seeing a split version of Rorschach here. You're seeing the harmful elements, which are in the 7th Cavalry, and you're seeing the more interesting law and order abiding positive elements, which I think are in the Mirror Mask character.
Yeah, the Mirror Mask character.
Or Looking Glass is his name.
Looking Glass.
He has a mirror mask.
Who clearly seems to be like there is a relationship between him and Rorschach because that mask, as it reflects, like looks like the Rorschach mask.
I almost thought that they had resurrected the Rorschach character in a different form for a few minutes.
Right, I think that's intentional.
Whoa, is this Rorschach 2.0? Because he's a very similarly built, grungy, or not grungy, mangy looking is the word.
And he hangs out with this mask kind of over his mouth a lot, like Rorschach did.
Yeah, dude, that guy though, that was tight. And that interview scene was fucking tight.
Yeah,
that was
but that's the implication. Rorschach himself was not a member of like the KKK or anything.
No,
it's one of those situations where they've adopted his,
which happens all the time,
and like basically, like Mike said, bastardized it.
They make them use them for their own purposes.
Yeah, and they've now used it as like a radicalizing text, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So Robert Redford's been president for 3 decades. Dr. Manhattan is on Mars. Rorschach has become a symbol for a white supremacist terrorist organization. There's a lot going on in this first episode, and as you said, it's like it'll be. Mike, I guess give us a little bit of where you think it's going from here. Like, what do you think this season attacks in terms of what's the big picture?
I think there is going to be we're going to find out where some of the characters who are left alive in the comic are, and how they're woven into the present day, which I think will be interesting. But I know that Damon Lindelof is interested in updating the text, and because the original Watchmen was all about the social issues and the existential issues that was plaguing the world at that time.
Okay.
So now,
which was like early 1980s.
Early 1980s, the Cold War, pretty much, and the anxiety about the bomb going off.
Right.
And
there's a lot. I love that that feel that they've even in the movie, right? Like, because I haven't read the graphic novels, but in the movie you have that that nuclear Holocaust fear feeling,
right?
Always, and then it obviously progresses.
Yeah, and in my opinion, one of the failings of the movie is that they didn't update those themes to the modern day. So what they're doing now is updating those things to the modern day. Because think about America. What plagues us? It's this cultural divide that is ruining our country, pretty much.
The race war.
Kind of.
I'm just kidding. It's not race war. Race war! I hope you watch South Park, or else it just sounds like now I'm a racist, which I'm not.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Race war! Race war! Yeah. No, dude, this is gonna be tight. Now, obviously, if you can't tell, we have a Watchmen expert, that Barrett and I get to work with every day. So now it's going to be easy for us to get cool insights from Mike as well. And then go listen to Who Pods the Watchmen if you want to hear much more detailed, dorky and in-depth analysis of Watchmen.
Indeed. I'm a producer on that show. Mainly Grant runs it with Clay, but I do pop on there every now and then. And it's a great show.
You should pop on more.
I will.
Mike, that's just my advice. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything I say, really.
I'll do whatever you say.
What else, Barrett? Watchmen, closing thoughts? Stoked for the show, obviously.
Yeah, really, just, again, I like what they're doing. I like what they're playing around with. Question, do you think that the old fellow in the wheelchair, is he the one that killed the cop?
You mean Black Bran?
Black Bran.
He does ask her, do you think I could lift 210 pounds or whatever?
That seemed like an implication, but then also I feel like there's got to be something more there.
He asked her that so that when she finds him by the tree, she will know he didn't do this.
Well,
right?
we have a theory that, well, I think it's pretty clear that that's Louis Gossett Jr., the actor from Iron Eagle, those Iron Eagle movies in the 80s.
Okay.
We have a theory
That's
that
cool.
he's actually the little boy at the beginning.
Right.
Well, he is.
Yeah, he
has
is.
the note. Yeah.
He has a note. He has the same mole.
Yeah.
But you see how he's dressed in purple a lot, and at the end, in the last scene, he's even like wearing like he has a hoodie on. There is this character in the original Watchmen comic named Hooded Justice.
Oh.
Who was one of the first superheroes that kicked off this vigilante wave that inspired the characters from the Watchmen comic. So we think he is the Hooded Justice.
It'd be interesting. Maybe we'll get a flashback of him being the Hooded Justice and then becoming paralyzed or whatever happens to him to get him to the point that he is now. But he's clearly going to be the almost instigating force that takes Regina George,
Sister
not
Knight.
Regina George, takes her character forward into what are we going to do here?
Potentially. I also maybe think that Don Johnson's character was low-key the head of the 7th Cavalry.
Yeah, that seems like that there's definitely some tones.
And
Is it
that's
because
why
Don Johnson played the head of the 7th Cavalry in literally the last Quentin Tarantino movie that covered this type of shit, Django Unchained?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Don Johnson was the guy on horseback. The fucking scene with the masks. How fucking dude, oh my God, the connections here. Who was it whose wife, he's like, my wife spent hours making these goddamn masks. You're all ungrateful sons of bitches. I'm out of here.
That's right.
Dude, that movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, but that definitely seems to be the where they're kind of like pushing you is that he's involved in 7th K somehow.
Shit, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck, man. Now I'm excited for Sunday in episode 2.
Yeah, it's just to
How many episodes we got in the season, by the way?
I think it's 9.
9.
Yeah,
9.
I think so.
9.
It does look like there's been some brief glimpses on TV screens and on like a big blimp hanging in the sky that's like promoting the show within the show, American Hero Story.
Yeah.
That's going to be, they're going to use that, I think, to like kind of bring us up to date on some of those characters that are still alive from
the actual Watchmen.
Yeah, that's going to be like, hey, people who didn't read the comic or watch the movie, like this is how the show is going to give you the backstory.
Mike, do you like the setup just one episode in?
Yeah.
Are you stoked about the opportunity?
I think it's great. I was extremely on edge the entire time. I was
gripped. Worried?
No.
Because you were enjoying it.
I was enjoying it. I was gripped.
I thought you meant like because you thought they were about to shit the bed at any moment.
No,
and the whole fucking thing will be ruined.
What I wanted here was just a complete departure from the source material.
And you got that.
And I got that. I wanted it to be updated. I wanted it to be a Damon Lindelof show because I'm a bigger fan of Lindelof than I am of Watchmen, and that's what I'm getting.
Lindelof. God. How long ago was Lost? Have we gotten far enough away from Lost to where we know there will be a definitive ending and things happening in this show that we can understand?
Yeah, because he already reacted to the criticisms of Lost with the way that he ended the left.
Well, you know what he said about the Watchmen.
Thank you. Yes.
He said that we only have one season mapped out, and if this ends up being a miniseries, then it's going to be a miniseries. It has a definitive ending.
No shit.
But HBO's like, well, the ratings are good. Yeah. HBO's like, if the ratings are good, we'll keep it going. But Lindelof's like, no, I got one season.
Yeah, and HBO is also pretty cool about being like, I feel like they don't fuck with people like that.
The ratings were good though.
Okay.
Yeah, like 1.5 million to open.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they were good.
Better than Succession or Euphoria or Righteous Gemstones.
Right on. Oh, fuck. Well, excited to talk more about that in the future, and that'll do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsors again for supporting the show. Make sure you support them to support us. If for some reason you don't need the greatest products known to man, which are brought to you by the sponsors of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, then you can support us directly by going to patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. This is the only place that you can get more OCC other than right here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or SoundCloud, wherever you're listening. By the way, if you would and you never have, rate and review. If you love OCC, rate and review wherever you listen, even if there's not a rating and review system. Find a way. Hack it. Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles for more ad-free, premium, and exclusive OCC each month. Movie Club, Righteous Gemstones, Fleabag, Hotline Call Extravaganza, all that good shit from October is available right now. And then we have good stuff coming in September as well. Follow us on Instagram at Oysters, Clams, Cockles, on Twitter at Clams and Cockles. We're on Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. My name is Ross Bolen, and you can follow me everywhere at WRBOLEN on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I'm also on twitch.tv/BOSSROLEN, twitch.tv/BossRollin, which is we're going to be doing some live broadcasts of this very podcast on that Twitch feed in the coming weeks. What else? Oh, the Ross Bolen podcast you can listen to anywhere that OCC is available. It's humor, comedy, mental health, life, addiction, substance abuse, animals, pirates, all kinds of good stuff that we talk about on RBP. It's very fun. Go and listen. Barrett, where can we follow you on social media and hear more of your lovely voice?
You can follow me at Barrett Dudley on Instagram and Twitter, and then check out the Club Cool podcast. On this week's episode, I told Phil about my New York City trip. So, maybe not the best one to just jump in and start with.
Why not?
Because
everybody wants to hear what you did in New York.
Because you got it. Because you need to know. Well, yeah. If you want to hear what I did,
I think that's interesting. I don't know what you did, and now I'm gonna go listen because I want to know, and I feel like that'll be the same thing for people who listen to this show.
We've got some takes on Brooklyn and some recommendations and some thoughts. Just overall, it's just a bunch of hot thoughts over there on Club Cool.
Just sexy thoughts.
So and you can follow it on Instagram at Club Cool Pod as well if you wish. And hey, go tell one person about Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, aka Oyster Clam Co.
Yeah, and then tell 4 more people.
AKA the people that are watching The Watchmen.
We are the people that are watching The Watchmen. We're not who pods The Watchmen. That's Mike.
We're not, yeah.
We're just watching it.
We will discuss The Watchmen.
Independently of Mike, and then asking him for his insights so that we don't sound stupid.
Definitely. This was, I'm very, very glad to know that Mike is...
Mike's our Watchmen guy.
He's a wealth of knowledge over there,
the fucking graphic novel's 2 feet away from my head as I speak.
Do you want to know something funny?
Pulled it out and started
funny real
referencing
quick?
it.
Did you know when I read Watchmen? It was on one of our yacht trips.
Holy shit! You know what's funny
which is the most bougie thing that I'll say all day. But
hey, by the way, just to be clear, neither Barrett or I, in any way, shape, or form, has access to a yacht. We did once have a friend.
One point in our lives.
Our friend had a yacht, and she was kind enough to invite us on it a couple times in high school, so we got to live the yacht life. But you know what's funny is I actually remember seeing you reading that and being like, fucking dork.
I read The Watchmen in my 1-bedroom apartment in college.
So yeah, so that's I need to read it again because I didn't have the the worldview, the nuanced worldview that I have now.
Barrett, you weren't nearly as woke.
I was not nearly as woke. Yeah,
I'm so fucking awake that I'm half asleep. Let's get the hell out of here.
All
Thank y'all. Great show. We only kept Mike here like an hour longer than we were supposed to. Adios, muchachos. Dude, is this?